So Jones and I were talking the other day, and we came to a terrible realization, which was that Elizabeth Scotty, who basically has won everything. Like, normally we would list all the things our guest has done. Elizabeth has won everything for women's tennis, and her teams have won everything. She has never signed the board.
Yeah, I need a board sign.
So we were very stressed this weekend as women's tennis won the ACC championship, because if she won, if the team won, we could have her in here and she could sign the board, and then it would feel like the board
You didn't
was
know
more
so
complete.
much was on the line, right?
I know.
Yeah, so
Then I would have been more nervous.
when you felt a little extra stressed, that's what it was. Like, oh, this point is to win the board. And now she's here. So, Elizabeth, congratulations on an ACC championship for women's tennis, and also later today on getting to sign the board.
Thank you so much.
I feel like the board's more complete because really you've done everything with women's tennis. This year it felt like winning the ACC was really important because things we won't even talk about what happened last year because we know how it ended up. But in ACC's stupid NC State. I hate them.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, good. Yes, see? I knew we were on the
We're
same
off to a
page.
hot start here.
But this year, Tar Heels get the win. What was different about this year? What enabled you to beat a very good Virginia team?
Honestly, sometimes having those struggles can lead us as a team to just grow and really just be a little bit grittier and a little bit tougher when we need to be. Obviously, last year we lost to NC State in the finals at ACCs, and that did help us to beat them in the finals of NCAAs. And I think the same goes for the fact that we lost to them twice this year. We lost to UVA at indoors as well. We came back super strong in the regular season, playing UVA at home, winning 4-0. So we definitely have been building on our confidence and just trying to be a little bit tougher and a little bit smarter on court, and more disciplined, which really helped us get through the finish line this ACC championship.
I am in no way suggesting that last year was easy, because obviously it's not easy to win a national championship, but you guys were relatively dominant a year ago. Mm-hmm. This year's been a little more struggles. Of course, had a big injury to Reese, and there's just been some lineup shuffling. How has this year been different in your mind to get to this point, understanding there's still more work to do, but how has this year been more challenging, more rewarding, whatever it might be, just considering some of the struggles that have occurred?
Yeah, I think honestly we have 5 seniors, and one of the biggest struggles is that we have 5 seniors. We are old, we are hurting every single match. I'm like, I need an ice bath. This is hurting, my knee, my shoulder, my elbow, everything. So that's been definitely more of a challenge, but it is more rewarding. We have so much leadership and just understanding of what to do when the big moments happen. And that's also great for our freshmen to see and be able to experience playing with us. I think that's going to help them in the future. So it's kind of that double-edged sword of just older girls. But I think it has its rewards in the end.
How rewarding was it as kind of a longtime program stalwart to have a freshman get the clinching point against Virginia, who I think probably didn't even think she was going to play this year, but for Tatum Evans to be able to be in that big situation? It
was awesome. She is definitely a breath of fresh air. She just is very honest, and just every single moment, I fully trust her because she's not one to really get too nervous or too tight. She's going to swing. And I think that's massive to have to be a freshman and not let the moment get to you. It's really big.
Okay, you've obviously had success individually, but you're awesome at doubles. What's important in being good as a doubles player?
I don't know. I always say I love the emotional support of having someone out there with me. It's kind of a joke, but I was talking to Coach. I've had 18 teammates just 18 teammates total since being at Carolina, and I've played doubles with 15 of them.
Wow.
So Coach, he actually had a quote, the Daily Tar Heel, something about Ani, who I'm currently playing with, and I've been with her for the whole 4.5 years. And it's basically something along the lines of, Ani really likes instruction and Scotty really likes to give it. I was like, oh, thanks, Coach. So basically I'm just really bossy. But no, I have an eye for doubles and just seeing how they're moving at the net. And I've just played so many doubles matches over my time at Carolina that I'm just really familiar with And some of our opponents too, because you see a lot of fifth years playing out there. I've played Natasha Supash from UVA like at least 6-7 times in doubles. So you know your opponents really well, and you also know your strengths and weaknesses. So I do have a little bit of an eye for it. That definitely is an advantage.
What was up with that girl you were playing in singles on against Virginia? Because Jen, she got admonished by the chair.
Oh boy.
And was doing some talking, it looked like.
Yeah, I don't know I always try to like kind of tune that side out when you're playing a match, because those things can get in your head and rattle you a little bit. I do know that we're playing in Cary, North Carolina, which is 20 minutes for us. We've had a massive crowd. I'm super grateful for all the Tar Heels that like came out to support me. And I know for a fact, as like somebody playing against that, it's super difficult, because she destroyed me in the first set 6-0 and wasn't getting the same sort of praise that I was getting after every single point. Like, it didn't matter whether she double faulted or whether I hit like an unbelievable winner. I mean, people were rallying behind me so much, which helped me, and it's definitely frustrating to probably play against.
Okay, you have
That's a veteran answer, right?
Yeah, you have the Captain America shield on the back of your phone, right?
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. That is my favorite superhero. It's
Nice.
a little bit immature, but
Look, if you think that's immature, you've come to the wrong podcast, Elizabeth. Trust me.
no, yes. So that is my favorite. My favorite movie is like the first Avenger, Captain America. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Okay, how tall are you?
So I did get measured. I'm not quite 6'1", even though my roster says that. But with shoes, I was like, I guess I'm playing a dude move and like rounding up.
Yeah, no doubt.
So is that beneficial? Is it difficult on the court? Like, how does, I mean, because that is a little taller than I would think a traditional tennis player is. So how does that play into
It
things?
definitely has its advantages and disadvantages. I'm a little bit slower than like most people. Like, you see someone like Riley Tran, and she's just like speed racer out there getting every single ball, which I very much cannot do. But then I do have the advantage of reach, which I think really helps me in doubles at the net. And then also I could have a better serve. We always joke about that, because they're like, with your height, like, why do you not have a bigger serve? But that is something I've been really working on and improving on. And that helps in singles or doubles, just like really spreading the court. You can hit over the higher parts of the net. It's a little bit easier because you have that height advantage.
So you are like completely committed to the long socks, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, when did this commitment begin, and why has it stuck true?
So it's actually for a health issue. So probably sophomore year, I started just like passing out all the time, which was something very scary.
I would think so.
Yeah. And just was going to team doctors and things, and just basically I have an issue. Like, if I stand for too long, my blood just pools in my legs. And then not enough is getting up to my brain. So because of that, they're like,
Compartments, is that what that's called?
they diagnosed it as POTS, with his posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome or something of that nature.
Not what I thought.
Yeah, but they're like, honestly, they're like, it's very common in volleyball, because typically taller girls. So the tall socks help with that. And honestly, I take medicine for it too when I
Like
compete.
blood flow it helps with?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And just making sure that it doesn't like just
Sure,
pool
yeah.
down there. And then obviously I switched to I did like more compression, and the high socks that I currently wear aren't as like good as the other ones I used to wear, but I wanted to match Reese. So she wore them for a fashion statement. I personally did not. I will be dishing them.
But you can make it a fashion statement. No,
Yeah.
It's like taking a problem and getting a solution to it and
Yes.
making it the best possible thing that could happen.
Yes.
I like that.
We were.
A little lemonade out of lemons there, Adam.
I like how you diagnosed that completely wrong.
Yeah, that's all right.
Isn't that something called this? No, not at all.
Yeah.
We were saying when we came in this building, you are no stranger to this building, because you're involved in a lot of things over here. And there was a basketball game this year where I actually said to Clint Gwaltney, "Is that Elizabeth Scotty on the sideline, like taking pictures or something?" What kind of stuff are you involved in away from the court, especially on the journalism side?
Yeah, so I'm actually a journalism major. I do advertising and PR, but I had the pleasure to take Sports Extra with Charlie Tuggle, and I've taken that 2 times, and I actually film sporting events. So this fall, I went to men's basketball, women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, all sorts of events, and obviously a lot of women's tennis because it was easy. I was like, I'll already be there. Let me shoot some
Get
more.
some great practice shots.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we usually don't get live videos of like practices because typically we're only allowed to come to competition, so I can kind of break the rules a little bit. But that's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it, and definitely something maybe in the future I'd want to pursue.
Okay, this may seem like a stupid question. I don't know. I'm trying to think how to ask this. So, as an athlete, you're then watching athletes. Like, I mean, do you see it differently? Like, if I was out there with a camera, I might do it one way, but you might see it another way because you're out there as an athlete competing. Do you think that helps you? Does that make sense?
Yes. I don't know. I just have a lot of respect. I mean, obviously, it's so neat to go to UNC where every single sport is so competitive and they do so well. So to be able to film all that kind of stuff and just have more of a respect for each of the different sports. I've never been to women's basketball before I started doing this class. And even men's and women's soccer never had like actually sat down and watched a whole game. And I used to always say, like, no offense, I was like, when I watched it on TV, I always thought it was like really boring. But when you're sitting there watching it and you're seeing the work that goes in, the running up and down the field just constantly, I was like, this is so impressive. And it just you gain a new level of respect for everyone, which is really neat.
As an athlete, what's something people like us could do better covering sports?
Well,
Is it even possible? Let's find out.
no, you guys do an excellent job. No worries. But for me, I think the hard thing is, and sometimes like you read articles written and just the terminology is not there. And it's really difficult because even I would make sure that I would either check with like my friends on other sports, or I would try to go, there's certain anchors for the Sports Extra show, and they are so in-depth, knew everything about it, and just kind of figuring out the right terminology, that's big. Because when you're an athlete reading it and they say something that's wrong, you're just like, that's just like, it just a little bit annoying. And if you put in that extra legwork, I know that people are going to appreciate it from the athlete's perspective.
All right, is this a team that can win a national championship in your mind?
Well, obviously, I was like, I'm not going to be a part of a team that's not. I think we have the talent, and at the end of the day, when it comes to a national title, it's who's playing hot at the right time and how all the players are clicking. So yeah, it could go our way and it might not. It hasn't for several years. We would lose in the semifinals. And last year we got it done. So once you kind of get into that nitty gritty, it's anyone's day. But I always have belief in my team.
Jones decreed that the entire women's tennis program was a wagon.
It's a wagon.
Over a year ago.
Wagon.
Is that an accurate description?
Do you know what a wagon is?
No, I was going to ask.
Wagon,
Really, I think you're the only one who knows.
That is inaccurate. A wagon, okay, Elizabeth, just close your eye, think of a wagon. It's rolling down the road, right? Like it never stops. You can't stop the wagon. You got to get out west. It just goes, it never stops. That is women's tennis. Like it's unstoppable. It's a wagon. Do you believe you guys are a wagon?
Yes.
Okay, see, there we go, Adam. I'm on wagon watch for men's golf. I think men's golf might be a wagon.
No, they're definitely on the right track, and I know our coaches actually went and spoke to them because that's what's so neat about like the Carolina family is they asked our coach to come in and just say like, hey, how did you guys get over that hump? Because you were just knocking at the door, and coach told him like it's all in the little details because those are the things that are going to be the first to unravel in the big moments. And I really do. I hope that they are able to secure that national title for themselves because that would be awesome.
So yeah, we just got to keep the wagon tuned up. That's
yes,
really
exactly. You got to keep it well oiled and ready to go. Yes, tip-top shape.
All right, last thing at least for me before we let you go. What you mentioned 5 seniors and a lot of names. I think that if you follow Carolina or Carolina tennis, I mean, a lot of names that people know at this point because you guys have competed for a long. What is it about this group that has made you want to stay together for that long? Because I think now in college athletics, maybe that isn't always the case, and that has allowed this group to be so consistently successful.
I mean, genuinely, it's the friendship off court. They are my best friends. We hang out like so much, and I'm one of those people that's like, once I've had enough social interaction, I need to go home. I need to go and just lay in bed by myself.
That's Adam, like every day. Like
Yeah.
that's not, he doesn't even need any social
But
interaction.
they're the exception for me all the time. I always try after practice, hey, do you want to grab dinner? Do you want to hang out? Let's go watch a movie. Ani just recently was on like the ACC all coverage, whatever. And we all had Leadership Academy for an hour. So we had practice, Leadership Academy the next hour. We all go over to her apartment to watch it and hang out. So we'll spend like 8 hours a day together, and we just love each other. And I think just because you're doing it for more than yourself, it really helps lead to success.